Oh man, I'm excited for this one. Eminem JID Fuel, a match made in heaven, bro. Absolutely my favorite song on the album by far. It's really not even close at this point, and I'm super excited to break this one down for you guys. Shout out to everybody that commented on my video yesterday when I was asking should I continue to break down the album or is it stale for you guys. I'm for sure going to do this one and Guilty Conscience 2, maybe do Antichrist and Evil, and then the rest of the videos I might lump them all into one big long, probably hour-long breakdown for each individual song, and then we'll be done. Now obviously this video will be copyright claimed just like every single breakdown video there is on this album. I don't have a sponsor, but if you want to support me and my fiance, we're about to get married and we do have a wedding registry down low in the description. If you buy anything on that registry, one, you can send it to our address and put a note on it, but two, please show me if you do that on Instagram. That way I can, one, follow you back, but two, thank you the proper way, because that is just super personal and that is awesome if you decide to do that. But okay, enough dibble dabbling. Let's check this bad boy out. This is Eminem JID and Fuel. Let's go. Hands up.
Come to my side of town. Lately it's been going.
Beats up.
All of my niggas gon' ride with it in the pocket, the rocket like killing mom. Mama told me the power's in the tongue, but it probably ain't powerful as a gun. All of you little cowards get devoured. I'm giving out flowers to anyone. I ain't been out the house in a minute, cause I ain't with it if the money is miniature.
God, dude, JID is so good, man. I got a lot of energy today. And contrary to popular belief, no, I don't do drugs or drink or anything. I'm just high on life and high on dope fucking music. JID's voice is so smooth, so charismatic, just so much swag to his voice. One of the easier rappers to listen to, hands down. But bro opens up this song with a triple entendre. Can you believe it? Somebody other than Eminem has done it. Sarcasm, obviously. Says he's riding around with his homies and in his pocket is the rocket like Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond was a brick shithouse of a quarterback, and when quarterbacks are behind the center and they set back and drop back for the pass, it's called being in the pocket. But he says his rocket is in his pocket like Kellen Mond. A pocket rocket is a gun. But also says he's in his pocket, as in this is his pocket of rap, and by God, he certainly is. Dude is flowing out his ass right now. Straight diarrhea, but the good kind. Bad analogy, but you know what I mean. And then furthers up this sentiment by saying his mom always told him his power was in his tongue. The power is in his voice, his raps. But he's like, it's not as powerful as the gun literally in my pocket. And they're about to go do a drive-by. That's what this song is. He says he's giving out flowers to anyone. He's literally doing a drive-by, giving funeral flowers to anybody killing. And again, it's all delivered in this just beautifully swagtastic voice. Love it, man. Love it.
All of you little cowards get devoured. I'm giving out flowers to anyone. I ain't been out the house in a minute, cause I ain't with it if the money is miniature. I've been minding my business, I'm business minding. I've been spending some time with the minister, cause them niggas spinning shit and still sinning in the city of God and the sinister. Try to pray and repent in a synagogue or a mosque, a temple, a church. Them brown skin cinnamon niggas hurting and murders a common courtesy for certainly. RP on the shirt, search, lurk, murk, squirt, dirt, first. My nigga doing 4+8.
God, dude, it's so good, man. Rhyme schemes galore right there, beautifully delivered. But this part of the song is like the only part that I'm really kind of confused what the verse actually means, and this is my thought process on it. So he says he's been hanging out with his minister, but his minister is still on the block spinning shit, like still murdering people and sinning in the city of God, and he thinks that is super sinister. So is he hanging out with his minister because he's like one of the most badass, ruthless guys he knows, and that's somebody he wants to have around on these drive-bys? Because that's the last person you expect in a murder is a minister. That's my thought process behind it. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, also had this really cool flip where he said, I've been minding my business, I'm business-minded, nice little back and forth, and says he hasn't been out the house in a minute because the money has been miniature. Like if he's gonna go do these drive-bys for you, you gotta make sure you pay this man a lot. But this also references features, maybe, his rap career, stage shows. Like he's doing so well now that if the money isn't massive, he doesn't have to go to do anything anymore. Like he's well off. Unless the money is massive, then he'll go out and do shows, he'll go out and do the drive-bys, he'll go out and do these features. But otherwise, he's set. Big flex bar there. But I also love how he just illustrates exactly what happens in these killings that is happening in the song. Says he makes sure that there's an RP on a shirt, he searches for his target, lurks them down, murks them as in beats them up, squirts them as in shoots them, dirts them as in buries the dead body, and then First 48, you can kind of hear that in the ad-lib in the background. The First 48 is a popular documentary series about life in prison. So he says he does all this and then ends up in prison. And then the next section of these bars where he switches up the flows is about somebody in prison for murder. Really don't conceptualize stuff going on right now.
Work, dirt, first. My nigga doing 4+8 without a court date. Talked the other day, he say he doing okay. He good, he gaining weight, then got a sharp shank he made. He say they play, they gotta partake. Homie got a heart full of hate and a face full of war paint. Eyes all red, full of rage, and it's hard to escape from a dark place. East side niggas from the A niggas, all ages. Tryna sell a pound.
Great choice of a beat pause right there too. Really, really great inner rhyme schemes on this. Multi-syllable rhyme schemes happening. 4+8 without a court date. But here he's kind of talking about his friend that is in prison that was with him doing these drive-bys. drive-bys, saying that his friend is about to do 12 years in prison without a court date, which means he admitted to the murder and took a plea deal so he didn't have to rat on anybody, because if you don't have a court date, that obviously means there was a settlement that happened. Still talks to his friend in jail that took the hit for him. He's gaining weight, he's beefing himself up in prison, he's got a sharp shank to protect himself, and his friend is describing the life in prison that everybody does this stuff, so he's got to partake and make the shank and fight them. His eyes are red, he's got war paint on, just describing this life in prison. Not really any double meanings, not really entendres, just kind of describing this person that is in jail for what they did together. But he's not a rat, he took the hit for it. All metaphorical, obviously. JID doesn't kill people. Unless JID is the minister, nobody expects him to kill people. No, but seriously, it's all theoretical, conceptualized in this song.
Niggas all ages, trying to sell a pound of the dog cage. All the OGs round town was all age. Danger, sex, and drugs, X and all rated.
Danger, sex, and drugs should be outrageous.
But don't get this shit fucked up, my boy, you lucked up. Once nigga doubled up, I dribble and pass it to the cup and triple double it, get to the basket, get the cash and cuddle up, cover up, bundle up, batter up. Talking about smack it, I can back it up. Shout wanna shack it up. I can put a puss on a platter like a platypus. Nap a head, nigga, hair, natter up.
Dude, he had like 4 different flow switches right there, and this is really when his swag comes out in his voice and why I love this song so much. Had a nice little sports scheme in there talking about basketball and baseball, kind of paralleling that to his rap career, saying that he triple doubles it up, he dribbles it, passes it to the cup, gets to the basket, cashes it, and then goes to sleep. Just basically all metaphors and euphemisms for being extremely talented and successful in his area, and paralleling that to basketball and rap. But this little part with talking a lot of smack and I can back it up, like that flow part of the song is one of the most memorable parts of the song for me. But it also kind of ties back into the basketball references when he says, "Shawty wanna shag and we can shack it up." Shag is another word for sex. Shack is also another word for sex, but also Shaq as in Shaquille O'Neal. He had the basketball reference with the triple double. And then the line that I could put her pussy on a platter like a platypus. A platypus is literally the combination of the word platter and puss, platypus. He's eating the vagina. There you go.
I can put a puss on a platter like a platypus. Nap a head, nigga, hair, natter up. I said, Barbara, nigga, tatted up. I won't argue, nigga, mad at fuck, cause they ain't compatible. I'm finna catapult, but niggas know it's going down.
Run out of fuel. I won't. What the fuck y'all gonna do if I don't?
Such a smooth chorus too. It's easy. Okay, so before we get into M's verse, favorite verse on the whole album. Isn't that crazy that I think the 2 best verses on this album are on the same song, which is why this song is just infinitely better than the rest of them for me. But I love these like triplet rollings of his tongue that he's doing. Reminds me a lot of what Mexican OT does. Just another little flair on his rap verse in this song. But he goes on to say that he's not going to argue with anybody and they're mad as fuck that he's not going to argue with them. But he says like, we're not compatible. I'm about to catapult. You're not. You're fucking down here. And he says everybody knows that it's going down, and then goes into that little bridge before we get to the chorus. But I hear this down, down, down sound, and it reminds me of like an aircraft. Like when an aircraft is losing control and it's going down, like you hear that down, 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 like that monotone down sound. I don't know where I've heard this before in my life, but that is just what comes to mind. And obviously the song is called Fuel. Eminem talks about it in the chorus, like he's never gonna run out of fuel. What the fuck are you gonna do if he doesn't? It scares you that he might not ever come down. Absolutely beautiful stuff, man. But alright, let's get into this monstrous Eminem verse here.
Run out of fuel.
Decades, been letting this text ray from that day that I met Dre. So you liable to catch strays from the second you press play. I suggest they do not test like an essay, cause like where my homies out west day, we can just say I'm like an R-A-P-E-R. Got so many essays. Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he? Yep.
Oh my god.
Rest in peace, Biggie and Pac, both of y'all.
Okay, so that is like the most diabolical line in the whole album. But dude, he sounds so fluid on this song. That is just a piece de la resistance. But yeah, it says he's been doing this for a couple decades, which is true. Been doing it since 97, technically before that with Infinite. But says from the day that he met Dre, anybody is liable to catch strays the second that you press play on a song, which is also backed up by his catalog. That man has dissed so many people. There's an image that I've seen floating around about this album specifically, the amount of people that he name dropped and dissed, and it was like 50 something people. Everybody catches strays all the time. But this section where he says, I suggest they do not test like an SA, like where my homies out west stay, and then like an R-A-P-E-R, got so many SAs. And then follows it up by saying he didn't spell rapper and leave out a P, did he? Such a long scheme to poke fun of P. Diddy and his sexual assault allegations. Not really allegations, confirmations at this point. But it's a popular phrase by saying, don't test me, bro. But don't test like an essay because essays are in tests. But it also says essays are like where his homies out west stay, and the Hispanic culture's like, essay! That's what they call call their friends. And then SA is an acronym for sexual assault, talking about P. Diddy, obviously. And then again, spelling out rapper, but leaving out a P to spell raper. And you didn't just leave out a P, Diddy. Separates them very intentionally, but says it P. Diddy. It's just beautifully orchestrated. And then even says RIP to Biggie and Pac, both of y'all should be living. And it's all but confirmed now that P. Diddy put out a hit that got Pac killed. Eminem rapped about that on Killshot too. And he talks about this a little bit more in this verse, so I'll explain as we get closer to that. But it was such a long scheme and so many different things connected that I had to let it play out and then go back over it.
Wait, he didn't just spell the word rapper and leave out a P, did he? Yep, RP, rest in peace. Biggie and Pac, both of y'all should be living. Yep, but I ain't tryna beef with him, cause he might put a hit on me like KVD. Get him. That's the only way you're gonna be killing me. Ain't gonna be on no beat, silly. I beat the beat, silly, on the grind like teeth gritting. Call me OP City. You think it's overweight? It's just me getting this me, and it ain't gonna be pretty. Used to be 8 tall, and I grew a little.
Oh, a nice little flow switch right there. So yeah, kind of finishes out this P. Diddy scheme. Says I ain't trying to beef with him because you'd be like, Keefy D, get him. Keefy D is the one that came forward saying that P. Diddy paid him $1 million to shoot and kill Pac. I don't think Keefy D was the one that pulled the trigger, but like he was in the car. But proceeds to say that's the only way that you're gonna be killing me because P. Diddy can't fucking make good music. He can't kill me on a beat, that's for sure. And then uses the phrase beat silly in a different way in the next line where he says I beat the beat silly. Just a cool way of using the same words in different meanings. On the grind like teeth gritting, that's an easy punchline to understand. But this next one that says call me obesity, you think it's overweight. It's just the beginning. Overweight, obesity, that's why you call him obesity. Man's a word technician.
City, you think it's overweight? It's just me getting this me, and it ain't gonna be pretty. Used to be 8 tall, and I grew a little each day till I became God like James Todd. Now your arms are too short to be K-Bra, and they small like DJ Paul. My new Benz better than your truck by far. It suck my balls. You either smoke crack or you're playing stickball in the street, cause you must be on base if you're thinking you could touch my car. But if the whole world was out to get you,
nice, man. So why, man? Why is it so fluid and so good? I wish every song was like this, man. But yeah, randomly tosses some disses at DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia in this, and also references his song Rap God, where he says your arms aren't long enough to slapbox, but here he says your arms are too short to brawl. And indeed they small like DJ Paul. He was born with the atrophy where his arms are significantly shorter than normal. It might just be one arm, I can't remember exactly. But here he also talks about coming up with his music, saying that he used to be yay tall and then he grew up to become a god like James Todd. James Todd is LL Cool J's real name, James Todd Smith. Eminem has said it basically his whole career that LL Cool J is his favorite rapper of all time, so he looks at him like a god. Then he goes into this scheme that he has right here about his luxurious car being better than somebody else's car, just kind of flexing his wealth and his money, saying that they must be on crack or playing stickball in the street and on base if they're thinking that they can touch his car. Like, you gotta be high if you think you can physically touch my car, or you gotta be on base and stickball if you think you can touch my car, because stickball is played in the streets and cars are in the streets. And a lot of times when I would play stickball in the streets, one of the cars was a base, or like a mailbox was a base, stuff that was around the street. But touch my car as in like come close to the amount of wealth that I have to be able to afford a car like I've got.
But if the whole world was out to get you, it'd turn you to a powder keg too. Down Rittenhouse, spitting rounds to tech shoots like, and that ain't no sound effect. Neither was that 6 hour let's loose. I don't condone gun violence at schools, but I can't get these voices out my head. They're putting words in my mouth like alphabet soup. Not the most content on the continent.
Oh yeah, then we go on to the con scheme here. Switches his flow up right here. It says if the whole world was out to get you, it'd turn you into a powder keg too. A powder keg is just a big ass barrel of gunpowder. Then after that bar goes on to have several schemes about shootings, but a powder keg is like a fucking bomb waiting to happen, which is why he is comparing himself to a powder keg. He's literally a bomb waiting to happen because of all this criticism. Reference Kyle Rittenhouse, who was on a big trial and killed somebody in self-defense during the Wisconsin riots. Says he's letting the tech shoot and that ain't no sound effect, letting the Sig Sauer let loose. Sig Sauer is a gun manufacturer, a tech is a type of gun. Goes on to say, even though I'm talking about all these guns and like these sound effects and stuff, I don't actually condone the gun violence in schools. This is just rap stuff. And finishes by saying he can't get these voices out of his head and they're putting words in his mouth like alphabet soup. And I think this is referencing Slim Shady, because this whole album has been a battle back and forth between Slim Shady and Marshall. And the voices in his head, Slim Shady is putting the words in his mouth. But words in his mouth like alphabet soup, obviously you're eating letters and you're putting the letters in your mouth, that's how the words form. But it's also another euphemism for him saying like, I'm not actually saying this, you're putting words in my mouth. So a cool little double, kind of triple right there.
I'm out like alphabet soup. Not the most content on the continent, and constant compliments give me confidence. Across the common sense and incompetence, I'm cognizant that conflicts are consequence of accomplishments accomplished through competition. I've conquered and conked him into unconsciousness. No conscience, I conjured as King Kong and just call me kamikaze. I'm concocting this.
God bless, man, so crazy. And then gets onto a different flow scheme right there. So yeah, this little scheme right here is obviously to flex the lyrical ability ability of being able to make sense of only using con sounds. Got the most content on the consonant. He does have a lot of albums, got a fuck ton of songs. The constant compliments give him confidence. Easy to understand there. Says that he is a cross of common sense, but also incompetence. Goes on to say that he is cognizant that all these conflicts that he has are a consequence of his accomplishments accomplished through competition. So many coms and cons. But to summarize, he's basically saying that people are jealous of his accomplishments, and that's why he's always in conflicts with these different people. References his album Kamikaze, saying that he is the kamikaze. He is nosediving right now, which makes sense because he's trying to kill Slim Shady throughout this. So Marshall is trying to kamikaze Slim Shady, murder-suicide. And then I think he even shouted out Danon from D12 in this when he said Con. Or it could be the Con that I know who does Concealed the Outro and Concepts. Dope rapper. You guys should check him out. K-A-A-N instead of K-O-N. But yeah, lots of cons and coms and that syllable just being repeated over and over again. And the whole thing made sense.
Nobody 16s are touching these. My fucking index fingers fucking the Nina. Clutching the 9mm, tucking the heat. Got the toaster like an English muffin. No, I mean toaster like you dreamed of something. But it's in a holster. I proceed to bust it. Fuck around and get popped like a Nina Hutchins. Like I'm Alec Baldwin. What I mean is fucking you down who the raw then.
Oh my god.
The fucking eyes shoot them all in. If you think you're fucking with me,
I love the layering that we're hearing right here. Sorry, I don't want to pause so much, but I'm hearing bars that I don't want to skip over. It says his index is clutching the Nina, another gun reference. Nina is slang for a 9mm, which is a pistol. Says he's got the toaster, like an English muffin. Toaster is slang for a gun, but also toaster as in English muffin. And I was just in London, and their muffins, they literally toast them on the sides. Like, we don't toast our muffins in America. At least I never have. So toaster like an English muffin makes sense. But then also flips toaster for the third time by saying no, toaster as in drink into something. Like, I want to give a toast to this. Technician! And then reference to Lena Hutchins and Alex Baldwin. I assume Lena Hutchins is the person that Alec Baldwin accidentally shot and killed on the set of his movie. He was handed a prop gun that for some reason had a live round in it. And while they were filming, he shot in the scene like he had been doing. And the live round went off and it shot somebody in the stomach and they ended up dying from it. Lots of gun bars in this, but really unique gun bars.
Nina Hutchins like I'm Alec Baldwin. What I mean is fucking you down who the raw then. Right between the fucking eyes, shoot them all in. If you think you're fucking with me, you're gonna suffer the fucking repercussions. The reapers coming to heed, and I meet the crummy. I keep replenishing fuel while the beat I'm punishing you.
Ah, God, and then goes back into that chorus right there, man.
If I don't run out of fuel, let's get the fuck out of you.
So, what a monster of a song, man. References the coup de grace. Again, the shot between the eyes. The Reapers coming to heed them. I need it from me. All referencing him trying to kill Slim Shady throughout this entire thing. It's beautiful stuff, man. And that he just keeps replenishing the fuel every time that he gets on a beat. So he's never going to run out of fuel like the chorus says. But there we have it. That is my full in-depth breakdown of Fuel. I know this is one of the most anticipated ones, and I'm glad I finally got to be able to do it. Tomorrow, I'm either going to break down Guilty Conscience 2, or I'm going to do an album tier list. I haven't decided yet. So please subscribe and stick around. I will toss this video in the Death of Slim Shady playlist that I have on my channel. It's got everything related to this album. Thank you so much for watching. I think we're about 4,000 subscribers away from 1.2 million, and that's dope. But alright, I'm done now. Gonna go mow my lawn. Grown man shit. And this is my song, If My Heart Had Wings, if you're interested in my music. Peace out, guys.
Seems like every now and then I try to pick myself up from these lows. Back and I expect to do that, I don't even feel like picking up my phone. I'm stuck somewhere between one and someone there all the time. But sometimes I don't have enough energy to even stay on the line. Cause I've been